To create a revolution is just that, the completion of one turn. The beginning is the ending, and one has gone nowhere. This is the reason that revolutions are an integral and important process of this system. Yet, this still eludes the mindset that believes revolution actually makes accomplishments towards freedom. It does nothing of the kind. What is important to discern is that for a revolution to complete itself, there must by necessity be revelation. Revelation is thus constituent towards revolution. Hindsight is 20/20, which is to be double-crossed twice over, and is to see things from the back or rear. To rear something is to raise it, as shown in the slight rearrangement of the word revelation as elevation, without the first letter R being included. Furthermore, a hind is a female red deer as linked with the occult symbol of the heart, and the Old English words as shown for members of a household. Everyone here is declared a citizen and a member of this household of the earth heart. It all started with a death that could not be taken back, as shown throughout the symbol of the Yggdrasil or ash tree. The ash tree is the tree of death. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This was the fire of Prometheus or light of Lucifer given to mankind, as shown in the English language as the vow to the elves or vow elves. Seeing that the letters A and E together is a grapheme called ash, which is linked to the Old English Latin alphabet as shown meaning ash tree. A and E is Ea, otherwise known as Enki or Prometheus Lucifer, forming the first two vowels. The death of knowledge is built into this vow, which is a pledge or death pledge to the elves, or deities who have created the IOU. The vow elves are thus AEIOU, and those who question things will on certain occasions ask why. The L's are the half-gods or demigods, seeing that L is the Roman numeral for 50, which is half of a full 100% completion. These are the builders of humanity. Even a carpenter square is simply an L. The L's are the creators of the square, mortar board, trestle board, with the two pillars of the sun, fire, and moon, ice, that create the Templar changes of this reality. The sun is the positive polarity of spring and summer, while the moon is the negative polarity of autumn and winter. It is the pillar of the moon of Isis, which ices the frozen assets until the citizen is given liberty to hold their birth of office off ice once again. It is strange that the thought has not occurred more frequently that since the sun is the source of heat, the moon must by default in a duality be the source of cold. The two pillars are the two pillars of the matrix, red for heat and blue for cold, which create light and darkness, which are the two veils. The two veils produce the true plan ET, which is both a globe and a flat plane, as shown in the ultimate symbol of Freemasonry, the G with the square and compass. The compass creates the circle, church of the dome, or the Edom, as linked to the Hebrew word meaning red. To feel blue is to be downcast or gloomy, and is linked with the Scottish English word for blue as shown, and the Middle English and Old English words shown. The latter word is tied in with terms for bleed, giving connection to the term blue blood. Blue is also a synonym for profane, which is a term used in Freemasonry to symbolize the defamation and rejection of God. The paradox is therefore complete, since one is living on both a flat surface, feeling blue, flat, matte, while surrounded by a circular one. The G that is squared and circled has always represented Sol, which is the dead left sun that one may call Saturn, the true light of man. This was never hidden and has been shown in previous works here several times. The musical solfege at its root starts in the key of C, and the fifth note of this scale is G, which is the sol note, do, re, mi, fa, sol, or C, D, E, F, G. The fifth note links us to the five-pointed star of Baphomet, the goat god of Saturn, which is further symbolized in the Vitruvian Man, or Man in the Glass, as shown earlier in this work. We are surrounded by a dome of glass, which is where the spirits are poured into from the bar sun, just like the bartender pours spirits into various glasses. Sometimes glasses are also required to see things more clearly, or perhaps they blur things when not needed, such as when one has consumed too many glasses of spirits. Things become hazy and blurry, distorted and unclear. Then one is out of tune or off key, which is what it means to be flat, to be lifeless, unmusical, and essentially disconnected from everything else. This is the reason that the Italian word piano means plan, flat, level, plain. A piano, of course, has black and white keys, giving us the formation of duality, which is both circled and squared, flat and round, as linked with the symbol of the black and white checkered board floor. When one is off key, they are kicked out of the band. To be kicked out of the band is to be tossed into the glass, which is the Church of Circe, the never-ending circle. This means that one has been put into the doghouse, which is to be the reverse of God. This is severely linked with the aspect of sex, which is to be a dog as opposed to a god. To be a dog is to chase tail and sniff ass, which is why the Star of David wags the dog and V chases after it. Sex is the mark of the beast that keeps the fires of the torch being brought forward in the human race, as everyone is having relationships while being electrical relays on ships. That's the track that the human race has found itself in, fixated on the training wheel, which is what it truly means to have a flat earth mentality. As was stated in the work called The Ether, there is no earth, only ether, which is of the heart. Yet in what is called the physical realm, everyone is chasing the dog, as they exist around the eye of Saturn. There is no earth. So how can there be a flat earth? You are circling Saturn, exactly as shown in the symbol of Mecca, exactly as shown in the ultimate symbol of Freemasonry. It is the authentic basis for the turning of the ages, which are the disciples of the sun, the quintessential Prometheus that has been chained to a stone or rooted into the tree of desire, the phoenix which is rising from its ashes, which is the symbol of 9/11, which was the emergency call made to consummate the end of the great year turning, which is to add another tree ring, to circle the square, the rings and the cube. A vow of eternity which creates the solution. The cycle has to stop somewhere, but there are no external saviors. None. One needs to stop the cycle within themselves, which are actions rooted in desire. The chasing of one's own tails. The never-ending story that is easy to get caught in because it seems so real. Sex itself is the crux of this endless chase, and if this desire cannot be surpassed, then one will remain in the time trap, because God cannot be a dog. Live like a dog, die like a dog. To be free of the matrix, one must be pathless. which is to be neutral. It is to be in the center, centaur, which is seen 100%, or both sides of the equation at once. To struggle with polarities is to be like the demigods or elves who are 50-50, only ever seeing one side of the situation. To be happy is to forget sadness. To remember sadness is to forget happiness. One does not see both sides of the coin at the same exact moment without conflict. The ending of duality, and thus the exit from the matrix glass prison, is to find the last threshold, which is to be whole. It is to find one centaur. To find 100, completeness, is to step through the 101st gateway, which is the pathless between the two pillars, and through the ring. There are 101 arteries of the heart. One of them penetrates the crown of the head. Moving upwards by it, a man reaches the immortal. The others serve for departing in different directions. Yeah, in different directions. The 101st artery of the heart opens the pathless door of Brahma, which is where the adept may enter, while the souls of every other ordinary man and woman depart in the other 100 directions, back into the matrix, Plato's cave. The symbol of 101 was shown in the Matrix movie, pulling the direction of its meaning towards the necessity of choice, which keeps one locked into polarities. If the individual can see that they exist as both animal and man, there is then the possibility that the two sides can be merged, and one can then bury the dog and become the god they were meant to be. Otherwise, one is caught in the very conundrum of choice, which is to pick up a coin and believe that there is only one side in your hand. Both sides of any choice are carried, regardless of the amount of denial that any might have towards this. Choice keeps one turning in the great wheel, running with the human race around Saturn. The great question is, does anyone truly want to know the reason why?